Look, I'm the same height as you.
You are not the same height as me. In case you're new to the show, I am freakishly tall and Chris is normal. So what we have going on here right now is Chris is standing on a block while I'm just standing on the ground.
But look, it makes our height like the right height. It's all good.
But anyways, today we want to talk to you guys about newbie mistakes that we have made, and some of them we've seen other people make.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to learn from these problems, and so that you don't make the same mistakes.
Exactly.
So coming in at what do we have numbers on these?
Sure, we can do numbers.
Number one, it's don't turn down a road you cannot get out of.
Oh, yeah, the GPS sometimes, I love the GPS, but sometimes this GPS, it will send you down a road that it is nearly impossible to turn around with our 38-foot fifth wheel behind us.
Yeah.
So that happened in New Mexico. We were headed towards the RV park, had that punched in, and for whatever reason, the RV park was on the right-hand side of the road, and our GPS kept making us go to the left-hand side. So we go to the left side, and we're driving down this road that it's telling us to go down, and all of a sudden, it's up a main cliff, a sharp hairpin turn.
We don't have that good of a truck, but we're going down this road, and we're like, oh my goodness, there's like no turnarounds. We finally see this lady coming our direction, and we're like, hey, roll down our window, and she rolls hers down, and we squeak by each other on this tiny road, and I ask her, hey, is there anywhere that we can turn around up here? And she looks at us, like looks up and down the rig and was like, not for anything your size. Oh, you know that sinking feeling? And it was a windy road getting back in there, so there was, I mean, to back up on that road would have been hours.
And we had cars behind us,
yeah,
that were coming up because it was just a residential road. Fortunately, we stopped. We were just like, we can't just keep driving blindly. So we stopped, and you got out and you ran ahead to see, is there any place even to turn around? We saw this one tiny little side road that had a gate that we were like, if we can back it into that, we can do like a 50-point turn and get us out of there.
Yeah.
We were so frustrated with our GPS that day.
Yeah, so lesson learned to go ahead and make sure when you get close to your destination, sometimes zoom in and make sure it's taking you to the right point, because it just took us to an empty field over in that residential area. So make sure you know where you're going.
Yes, zoom in on that GPS, make sure it's headed to the actual place you want to go.
Yeah. Then one of our other bigger mistakes, I guess you could say, was this day one of heading off like on RV living.
Yes, this was our very first day. We made it up to Flagstaff.
Now, we had done some other pre-trips and, you know, went up to Utah, went up over to California.
Which maybe we should talk about our mistake up to Utah, about the gas.
Oh, yeah.
Before we do this Flagstaff one.
Beat back up this truck and talk about that one.
Yeah, so one of our very first trips we wanted to go up to Utah and check out Bryce Canyon, and we're driving along and we passed through Flagstaff, tons of gas stations, and we're like, oh, we're good, we've got plenty of gas.
Yeah, we had just over a half a tank. We're good to go.
Yeah, we keep going, we see another gas station and we question ourselves, should we stop? I think we even pulled into it actually, stopped, but we didn't fill up. I don't know what we were thinking. We were just like...
We looked on the map and saw a town further ahead and was like, oh, they're going to have gas there.
Yeah.
No diesel.
No diesel. But we just kept driving and we realized we are out in the middle of Indian reservation, nowhere, and nothing around for miles and miles. And we were running on fumes with our trailer and we were like, what are we thinking? Fortunately, we're looking through the GPS, you know, we're looking at what's available. We see a gas station that's about 10 miles up the road. We pull into it, no diesel. We're like, is there any diesel around? They're like, yeah, It's a small little gas station, and it's about another 10 miles up the road, but you'll make it. And so we limp into this gas station, and I am not joking.
We're gonna be done. So we had to pause because of the chainsaw action happening. They were taking some trees down and whatnot. So, and then a storm came through, and we're back at it.
Yeah.
So we were pulling into that gas station.
Yes, and it was the smallest little gas station and the oldest gas station. It was one of those ones where you could watch it like tink, tink each time. Yes. It was old school.
Yep. But we got fuel, and I think it actually did cause problems. You know, I think we had some bad fuel for a while in our truck. And but anyways, plan out where you're gonna get fuel, because Gas Buddy, I've said it before, I love Gas Buddy. Look to see where you need to land, where you need to fuel up, know the range of your vehicle, and be able to get the proper fuel in a good area. You can even look for decent prices if you use something like Gas Buddy.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And that
don't try and stretch it so far.
Bigger cities, they're definitely going to have more. It's a better option. We paid an arm and a leg also for that gas because it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
So
that brings us to the other point that we were mentioning, that you want to see how much tail swing your rig has. So for our fifth wheel, we have a long distance from the back of our rig to where the tires are on the rig. So when you turn, that tail is just gonna swing way out there. So if we're close to something, I'll have Chris hop out and she'll actually spot it. Like, yeah, keep going, you got a foot, you're clear or whatever. But you wanna make sure you have that clearance, because if you don't, when we were in Flagstaff that time.
Yeah, the reason why we do that, why I get out and spot him now, is because I didn't at a gas station in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And we learned our mistake. We were like, we will fill up in Flagstaff. So we were at this place getting gas and started driving away. And all of a sudden you hear this loud crunch, smash. And we realized our back end totally took out the concrete pillar.
I mean, the concrete pillar was standing fine. It was a little bit of white paint on it, maybe. The biggest damage was block wall versus our fiberglass and aluminum corner on the rig did not survive. We lost.
We did not fare well in that one.
So we pulled over and had to put it back together. So beware of tail swing.
Yes.
So
that is a good one.
Yep. One of the other big things is people hook up to full hookups in RV parks, and they'll open up all their tanks. Do not do that with your black tank. If you do that with your black tank, it's not gonna work like a normal household plumbing system. You need to, when you flush your black tank, you need to make sure it's filling up with all the solids. I know it's kind of gross, but the solids along with the liquids, so that it can flush all that through, and you're not gonna have a buildup of
just the solids left over.
Yep.
Yeah,
because the water's gonna go. The water's gonna get out of there quickly. What? Urine, pee, water. You're flushing it with water too. But
your liquids are going to go.
Yes,
Sorry.
you want to make sure that you have all that flushed down. Some people we leave our grays open, and you can even put a little dip in your pipe so that you don't have any smells coming up from the sewer. But you want to make sure that you properly flush your black tanks.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Leave those closed until it's full.
Yep. What other mistakes have we made? One of the other things is don't ignore small problems. Now, because I didn't seal up that back corner, I'd put the metal back on from when we had that tail swing. I didn't fully seal it up, and water and moisture got in behind there, and it delaminated a little bit of the fiberglass. And I was able to fix it, but it was a way bigger fix than it should have been. So if you have something peeling up on the edge, bees flying by. If you have something peeling up on the edge, or an issue with your roof, or a leak somewhere, just stop and take care of it, because dealing with delamination, mold, mildew, all that kind of stuff, you can avoid all that by just dealing with the situation and taking care of it right away. So don't ignore the small stuff.
Another area that we probably did ignore was our truck. In the fact of coming back to Arizona, we knew we were having an issue. We knew we were losing coolant, and we were very diligent in putting coolant, even stopping, making sure it was filled up. But we got into Kingman, we got gas, we checked it there, but it was too hot. And what we should have done,
We should have stopped.
We should have stopped. We should have
Yep.
let it cool down and checked to see if we needed to add more coolant. Because when we started going up that hill, it went through it and it was gone. And
Yep.
that's what caused our issue, was overheating up on the mountain.
It was going to go anyways, but
Right.
if we would have stayed another night in Kingman and let the truck cool down and gotten an early start, we could have at least probably gotten to our destination in the Prescott area and been able to handle it rather than having to go through all the towing process
Right.
and getting to a mechanic in that area. And it just would have avoided a lot of difficulty and confusion if we would have listened to our truck and not ignored the small problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for the newbie things that we had to go through. Go ahead and comment down below if you've had any issues that you had to deal with, and kind of learn the ropes and go through those newbie hard times. So leave that in the comments, and we will catch you on the road.
All right.
Like we're chasing them.
No, we will see you. Hopefully we'll see you on the road.